And this is a proof of ours. I'm not going to go into the ADD part. ADD is mostly for admission and area. Whenever a recommendation comes from the doctor and it has been approved and things like that, things come over here now. Then the recommendation starts showing up in the first box, and then you have to do the collect admission of the patient in which bed class and what bed number, what is the admission type, and things like that. This is something for a later stage that we can discuss. Last tab is CPOE. CPOE is nothing but just a quick view of all the orders that the patient has on himself. So if the doctors have ordered for any services for this patient, you can take a look at it from here, right? So for example, if I'm going back some days and clicking on view, it will sort of give me a breakdown. Yeah. So it shows me that, see, it collapses. So you can see exactly what you want to. That's annoying. All right. So I can see over here in Honey, I can click on this one and I can see that the Dr. Honey had ordered for him a TTE and CCG. If you remember, yes, he had ordered for two things only. I can click on this and I can sort of ask for a print preview. I can print this thing. Why is this there? Is because you can sort of give this to the patient, and let's say I'm leaving this city and I'm going to Jeddah, then and I'll do this over there. Yes, you can do that, and I'm giving you this print because it gives you all the information that who is the patient name, what was the diagnosis, what are the allergies, and things like that. And with all the orders that is there, it should also have the doctor's details on the bottom. Yep, there you go, prescribed electronically by Dr. Hani and this thing, and so on, so on, so on. You can then stamp it and do all those things and send it out. So the idea is that this is just a printout to give people if they want to go outside and do stuff, things like that. So you can see this. Plus, not to mention that it gives us also a quick, clear idea of what were the services that was proposed. So if this was proposed for him and it was the diagnosis was this one, status is built. What does pending? Pending means this means administration of the stuff. Has it been performed? Has it been completed and things like that? Then yeah, you can see that over here. If there was a lab scenario, I would have shown you. Let me just take a look at it. If there is any. Okay. Anyways, there's nothing over here. So this is that. On the bottom, you can see admission request print also. So if there is any admission request done for this particular patient, you can click on that and you can print it out also as an admission request. That is also one thing. You have two screens now, example for this one, A here and B here, the ADT box. So these are the two areas now, you know, that where admission prints can be seen for this patient. Let's talk about now first bill cancellation. Before I go into the cashier collection part, let's talk about bill cancellation. By the way, before we go there also, there's something called shift open, and then we'll see cancel bill also. But shift open is something that you have to do at every morning when the cashiers come in. They have to sort of click on shift open first. They can't proceed with any bill if they have a closed shift. So let's say last night we went and we closed the shifts of everyone, and we saw we did the tally and everything, and we have identified the variances and everything, and now we've closed the shift of everyone. Tomorrow morning when the receptionists are going to come, they can't bill a single bill. When they try to bill it, it will give an error that your shift is closed. Just click on open. They have to click on this button, shift open, and say okay over here, and the shift will start at this particular time that they click on it. Then they can start collecting. Then because this is this is what is this saying? This is saying that the meter is 0, and now you're saying that start the meter. Then again 10 reals, 20 reals, 100 reals, 50 reals, and then it's going to collect. And then in the evening again, a collector is going to come and close your shift and tally all the amount and make it 0, and then get it back. So it's just a simple accounting sort of shift collection process that we are doing. So that is one thing. Secondly, you have something called cancel bill. Of course, you guys must be thinking that if I want to cancel a bill, what do we do? How easy it is? How convenient is it? It should have been very convenient from the other screen only where we show availed services, but it's not. Sadly, you have to come to this screen and do the cancellation of services. But not everything is bad about it. There are some things that are interesting. For example, let's take a look at this particular build over here from Mohammed Qasim again. I will not again explain to you what is on the left hand side. Like I told you, always it's search. You can search by the date, the service type, look the user ID who billed it, the bill number if you know, the service name if you have to, patient's name. Any of these things you can fill up and you can find out the bills of the patient. The bills are always going to show over here. If there are two parts of it, it's going to show CRCS. Of course, it's not going to show us two different bills, because if you cancel one, the other also gets cancelled automatically because it's together, CR and CS. So I can see one over here, for example, and I'm going to click on that. Let's see what information pops in. All right, there you go. So now it shows me that this was encounter one from the 5th episode of the patient, and bill number is so. Visit OP, gives you the information of the contract and all these things. I can see there were two bills done, one for ECG, one for echo, and the amounts I can see over here. What is the total amount the patient paid? 822. Now let's say, for example, if I want to cancel the whole bill, very straightforward. Open the reason why are you canceling it. So patient is not going to go do it, or data entry mistake. Let's say data entry mistake I'm saying, and I can save it, and this bill is cancelled for good. You cannot undo a cancellation of bill in YASASSII. If you cancel the bill, you cancel the bill. You cannot undo. So tomorrow you tell me, oh, cancel that cancellation that you did. No, can't do that. Undo the cancellation that you did. No, can't do that. You have to go and bill it again, and then things are going to be wrong. So it's they have done some checks and balances. They have sort of given a reason first, so there is a stop there. When you click on save, also it gives you an alarm that are you sure you want to proceed. So it does stop you one or two times to confirm that this thing, but if the user is not being careful and things like that and just clicks on yes and proceed, then sadly this can happen, and there is no coming back if a bill is cancelled. Okay, the only way to identify that what was the bill earlier and what are the cancelled bills is from reports. Then you can't undo the stuff. So that's very important. Not to mention that, of course, these are privileges. Not everyone has this privilege. Only some handful of people will have the privilege to cancel a bill. You can go back to your supervisor and tell them that please cancel this bill for me. They'll do it for you. Rather keep it controlled than to keep it haphazardly open and then do preventive measures rather than cure, is what I'm saying. Full bill cancellation, very easy, straightforward. If I want to do service, what if the patient said that I don't want to do echo, just cancel the echo part. So how do we do that? On the top, there is full bill and service wise. I'm going to click on service wise, and I'm going to say, I want to cancel echo only. Select the one you want to cancel. Okay. So I'm going to select this thing, echo, and say cancel. What was the amount he paid for that? 770. I'm going to click over here, say whatever patient doesn't require, not required for claim. Save. It asks me, are you sure you want to do this thing? Services once cancelled cannot be restored. Again, the same message has been given to you. I'm going to say yes. And it's going to ask me, the 770 reals is like a cash with you. What do you want to do? You want to give it back to the patient? Use a card for that, bank for it, or a retainer? What do you want to do? If the patient is not with me, for example, and I'm canceling this somewhere else, or I'm doing this from my office, something, always I should be clicking the retainer. What most of the people have not realized in YASASSII is that the reception is one guy and the supervisor is sitting back in the office. The reception has called the supervisor and told him to cancel this bill. He is canceling the bill. But when he is going to, with his account, when he's going to, and this pop-up comes up for refund amount, he should not be clicking on cash, because it then says that this supervisor has given 770 reals back to the patient, which is not true. He did not give it. He's going to tell the reception now that, okay, I've cancelled it, give the money to the patient. But in accounts, and in the record, it shows that the supervisor has done. So that should not be a scenario. You should always click on retainer, and you should say okay, and then tell the reception that okay, I have cancelled the bill. You will now find 770 reals in his retainer, in his account. Please refund that amount back to the patient. So let's see how that goes. If I go back to my screen, main screen, new registration, and look for Mohammed Qasim again. Remember last time I told you that if you can't find a patient, something like that, always click on OP, because if he's coming to the hospital or something like that, then you'll always find him available over there. If he's registered, actually, if there's an encounter, we didn't have any encounter today, right? Okay, then we'll have to search. Okay. So there you go. you can now find that there is 1,770. Why 1,770? 1,000 advance that I took earlier as an example when I was showing you the advance screen, and 770 is the 770 is the amount that we sort of refunded to the patient. So we have two slots that are available, and in a total, the patient has 170 as advance available in his system. One negative point about it is minus 1,770 due means, so it's like negating the line. It's a due of minus 1,770. That means we owe him this much. It shouldn't have been like that. It should have become green, and it should have told that we have advance owe 1,770. It should have been the other way around. But they were not smart enough to do that, so instead they just kept it like this, and now it shows minus one. Whenever there is a minus, that means the hospital owes it to the patient. Whenever it's blinking, that means the patient owes it to the hospital. So that's the way you have to do it, sadly. Anyways, I can go to advances now. And sorry, I don't want to go to advance. I want to go to refund the advance, right? So I'm going to go over here, front office, advance refund. Click on that. So you see all the different balances. I told you, right? It's going to give you like a history of everything that has been done. Uh, and it will show you accordingly what was the balance, what happened, how much amount was deposited, what came back, and all those things. And over here, very straightforwardly, it's going to tell you two collection was done. Two times the amount was deposited. One time 1,000 reals, next second time 770. I want to give him back the 770 part only. So I'm going to click on 770. I'm giving it back as a cash. Refunded by cancelled by supervisor. Once again, it should have been a drop-down list. I should not be doing this. And click on save. Now successfully, I have, sorry. Successfully now I have refunded the 770 reals for the patient. So very straightforward thing, smooth operations and things like that. So as an operation, if you really want to do things very smoothly and systematically and things like that, yeah, this system supports. It's not that bad. But it's only about the technology and how heavy it is and things like that, or else the application was good enough to be used. That's not a problem. So we've seen everything from the side of what the reception is using and things like that. I will now be moving on to show you the shift collection part of how the shift is closed and how collection is done and variance and all is being seen. Before that, so whatever you've seen so far, do you have any comments or do you have any doubts over here that you want to ask? Anything that you are still wondering that how to see in this part?
Yes, Mr. Osama, this all related to the front office, especially for the OPD, right?
Yeah, especially for the OPD, but applies to inpatient also. Doesn't matter. Like
Mhm,
advanced and
mhm.
all examples, yeah, they apply to inpatient. But I will also do one scenario of inpatient completely, where we will
Yeah,
take an
exactly.
approval for a bed and things like that. Yeah. Okay.
Because
So
this is my field, that's why.
done. Okay, and for you, I'll do it.
Thank you very much. Thank
Most
you.
welcome. Yeah. Okay. So we'll do one thing. We'll just go through the accounts part and close that whole subject, and then we will do an inpatient full scenario, right? Where we will properly take an approval for a patient who's going to get admitted tomorrow and things like that, and we will see how it goes. So I've clicked on my now this is the first time I'm going into this module of ours. It's called the accounting module, accounts management module. If I go to the setup over here, it has two options: a shift close and discount setup and things like that. You'll only come here for these three things. You'll come here for discount setup, shift open, and shift close. These are the only things that you'll come here for. If I click on shift close, I can go and I can say I'm gonna close the shift for one of the cashiers. Usually you have IDs of people that you know, that so you can just simply punch in that ID over here. But in case you don't, then you just have to mention it. You see this. Why did I move it back? Is because there was no shift open in last week or something from the system, so it doesn't have to. So the period that I'm setting over here has to be when the shift was open, right? So between 2nd of November and 12th of Jan, in the middle of it, there should have been a shift open, and then only I can see. Let's try something for this guy, Ahmed Yahya. Okay, so if I click on Ahmed Yahya Zahrani, and I say show, he has nothing over here. I'm gonna clear this. Yeah, good. Okay, so I can see over here that for Maram, she has collected certain one. She has done one billing of a credit invoice, that is insurance invoice of 41 riyals. I can click on that. I can see what was the bill number. It's called IC. So for this file number, that's good. And has she cancelled any amounts? No, she hasn't. The total is 41 riyals, but actual amount is nothing over here. There's nothing to be collected for her, so I can close her shift very straightforward. That is this is a very clear scenario. Okay, let's try to get someone who has something on his account. Yeah, excellent. We got a perfect example. This particular person, Sultan, he has cash bills of 3 and in insurance bills of 168. Okay, insurance bills we can't do anything about it, right? Because you understand there's no real cash against it. It's just a pseudo money that we are trying to see, which will be claimed by the insurance companies later. So I'm not going to talk about that part. Here I'm really caring for only the first two parts: cash and non-cash. Cash means, of course, hard cash, and non-cash means all advance settlements and insurance. Sorry, credit card payments, and these are the things that we're going to do. Now, this surprisingly, this guy has not done any card payment over here, and and the reason because of this is that people are not using the option, right? They haven't actually. This person is not really having 34 riyals in cash in his hand. He must be having like 10 riyals only. The rest of the 24 riyals was paid by the by card, but he was just lazy to put it on the non-cash scenario. This can create a lot of issue, right? So this is what I was talking about exactly. So I need to open this and I need to see that, okay, he's billed what against which patient and when exactly it was done. I can see get the file numbers of the patient also over here and exactly and identify. So you can confirm me that, yeah, these payments were done for this particular services. Those are patients. If he's cancelled any amounts, I can see exactly what are the bills that he's cancelled, what is the total amount that he has, and then I can match. So I can see from my screen when I come to Sultan, I can see that he needs to pay me 34.79 riyals. Uh, if he gives me 30 riyals, I'll write over here 30 riyals, and I will put 4.79 on automatically will be calculated as a variance in his account. Okay, maybe he use the 479 to go take a cup of coffee. I don't know. So the amount that is left with him is only 30 riyals that he gave me today at the end of the day. That 30 riyals I will take it over here and I will put a variance of 4.79 and save it. When I do that, now his shift is closed and there is an entry done for that particular this thing. I'll show you how to see that part also. There's a report for it. I'll show you a report for that later. Anyways, that's how we close a shift also to do if you ever have to. So if you could report manager, there should be something for accounts shift closing accounts shift close details.